Good evening and welcome to WANA Live, the reading series of the Writers Association of Northern Appalachia. I'm your host, Damian Drusick. This is your other host.
Christina Fasonic. So, Damien, it looks like we're both out in the wild today. You literally say you're out in the wild, and here I am with sunflowers and wildflowers taller than me. So
Well,
tonight,
I'm Christina in a coffee shop, which is as far out into the wild as sometimes I'd like to get.
that's true. You might get bit by something if you're not careful. So we have a special guest on this evening, and would you like to introduce her to our audience?
Very much so. We have Cindy Lynn Spear. She's the author of several books and one short story collection. Her best known work, The Chocolatier's Wife, was an Amazon bestseller. While she's not writing, she can be found teaching historical sword fighting, reading, or taking long walks to pretty things. To learn more, please visit Ape and Fire. So let's.com. Let's bring her up.
Great. Hi,
Hello,
Cindy.
everyone.
How are you today? It's
Doing
beautiful.
Thank you very much. I love your backgrounds. Yours are so much better than my. This is actually my work place, so
Yes,
it. At least it's got books behind me. That's authorly, right?
that's true. Absolutely. So, what will you be reading for us this evening?
I'm going to be reading a short story called "The Taste of Cherries" from my anthology. I'm just showing you this because I really like this cover. So every time I have a chance to go look at this cover, I do.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
from my short story collection, Wishes and Sorrows. And shall I get
Excellent.
started?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll disappear and we'll be back in a few minutes when you're done reading.
Thank you. The Taste of Cherries. They don't have cherries here. They never did. And all the hunting I've done during my life in this weirdly beautiful dimension won't make it so. They have magic here, and yes, where the map says, "Here be dragons," there certainly are, and hippogriffs, gargoyles, and all assorted strange beasts, but no cherries. I find myself trying to remember the color of cherry blossoms. Apple blossoms were white. I remember the simple joy of pulling a branch down to smell their sweetness. Choke cherries had tiny white petals that fell and drifted like snow across the metallic red of my mother's car. Nectarines, I seem to remember, blossom a bright pink. Doesn't matter now. There are so many things about this world to recommend it, above my existence on Earth. When I first got here, I fell in with a band of adventurers. Well, mercenaries, to be honest, but they had good hearts, and when the queen was kidnapped, we managed to free her. You know the story, but instead of discovering some amazing latent talent for magic, I discovered a talent for winging it. I never finished college. I took a combination of physics, chemistry, and engineering courses, but never took enough of one thing to actually get a degree. I think I can safely say that no one has ever gotten more from those classes than I. Because of my earthly perspective, I saw the materials at hand differently, and soon I discovered that I could jury rig just about anything I needed. As a reward, I was given a title, the Queen's Inventor, and with that title, an income, unlimited supplies, and a nice suite of apartments overlooking the water garden. Much better than the things I had on Earth, I can tell you. But they don't have cherries. I know it seems petty, but over the years it's begun to wear on me. They have apples, purple, heart-shaped things that you can see right through, peaches in a spiked green shell, oranges and lemons in furry scarlet coats, bananas that you dig up like potatoes, but no cherries. Not even anything remotely cherry-like. I think I could pretend if I had something that looked or tasted enough like one to pass. To be fair, they don't have grapes either, but I never liked them, so that works out. Here they make their wine from tiny rose-like flowers that grow in every color, translucent petals that sparkle like stained glass. When the petals drop, they make a tinkling sound like glass shards. At funerals, they throw handfuls of these petals at the coffin during the procession, and the only sound permitted is the tinkling of the petals and the crunch of them beneath the mourner's feet. Anyway, when the petals drop, there's a juicy little nub left, and that's what they use to make their wine. Now, before you think I'm living in paradise, let me reassure you that I'm not. There's always some dispute going on, and someone's always trying to get me to pick sides. I'll stick with the queen, thank you. I don't bite the hand that feeds me. The other thing about this land is that the winters can seem so long. When it begins to snow here, you're pretty much stuck for the long haul. Now that I'm old, my apprentices have flown off like so many dragonettes. I have taught all I know that can be applied here, and in return they have taught me herbalism, astronomy and botany, and how not to poison myself in my search for elusive fruit. I have done much in my life, been an explorer, inventor, and hero. My name is written down in many books. I am spoken of in ballads. I am a power to be reckoned with. I don't miss the world of my birth at all. There, the rivers are filthy brown. Here, the waters run clear. And once a year, some algae rises to the surface and blooms, coloring the waters in shades of purple and pale pink. They mix it in with the milk of, well, I'll call it a cow for simplicity's sake. It's a sweet mixture and heady, and the reason that there are so many marriages 3 months later and so many births 6 months after that. I myself have never married. Perhaps I'm too foreign. But I've had lovers under the lavender moon with a tipsy head and a heart full of need. I have friends and allies. It is too late to fret over the rest. Tomorrow night it all ends. The ocean will glow green and the midwinter festival will begin. The queen will give her crown over to her son, and my retirement will be announced. I will take myself hence to the warm pastures of my new country home. It's a small cottage really near the sea. I will sit in the sun and dream in the warmth, dream of petals as soft as a baby's cheek, as light as the laughter of love. They will be pink and sweet, drifting through my hands like grains of sand. I will shelve all regrets away and concentrate on remembering the taste of cherries. That's it.
Wonderful. I really enjoyed this. And I was thinking as you were reading that we really don't have enough fantasy writers come on the show. So this was fantastic, Cindy. Wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I really felt like you were telling me a story, and it was a nice break in the middle of the day.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it was deliciously well imagined. I love the kind of world building. And one of the things that really kind of that impressed me about with the work was the concert, the coming together of economy and world building. Like I think there's a real confidence you have to have as a writer that you're going to be able to open a door that people can walk through in a dimensionalized way in a short form where you're not spending 1,000 pages of the epic.
Thank you very much. That one was just, it's also a story of regret. And so the framework for the world building was what would you regret not seeing and, not having around you. So some of that made it easy almost, putting the, hooking the, hooking the world building on emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with Damien that, especially since we haven't read any of the rest of the book, to be able to walk in and feel like we're at home and comfortable in the world and not like confused about what's happening, that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. So that was really great.
Thank you. I really appreciate your kind words. It
was like,
please.
No, there was a flora and a metaphysics that comported with each other, and you never felt like there was anybody behind the curtain.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you doing next, Cindy? What's your next project? We know that you teach fencing and some other things. You do lots of stuff with magical worlds and all these cool things. So what are you working on now?
I have been working on basically it's a cryptid road trip novel because I've done a lot of traveling and I've had a lot of these odd thoughts in my head as I'm going, like, oh, that partially demolished thing that it's a bunch of teal cinder blocks, but it looks like it used to be a motel. I wonder what can I take this mundane thing and make it magical? So I've told myself over the miles and miles and miles all these tiny fragments of stories, and now I've been writing them down and seeing how I can make them into something not boring and a
Mhm.
cohesive whole. So basically, right now I've got my main character doesn't remember her past, and I'm not going to get in why because that's long. But basically, she is trying to rebuild her life while having sort of a chronic condition. And she's taking someone around to visit all these different cryptids to make sure that they're not misbehaving, that age hasn't gotten to them, they've started gone feral. And this person may or may not be Baba Yaga. And of course, there's a murder eventually, and she's got to figure out what happened before something horrible happens to her. And I'm excited
Oh
because
man,
I love
sounds
cryptids.
marvelous. Yeah, that sounds truly marvelous. And cryptids are a big deal right now. More than ever, people are, reaching out about the Mothman. I'm a West Virginian, so I got to throw, a little Mothman into everything. But there's a Bigfoot festival, like 2 counties up from me this weekend.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, so like the cryptids are really hot right now. So this should be a very interesting book when you get it done. And I love the concept too of adding reality to fantasy and see where it takes you. That sounds so fun. I love it.
Thank you. It's been fun to read. I keep having horrible things happen to my main character and feeling guilty though.
Well, you know what they say about killing your darlings. Don't go that far.
So I probably a permanent spoiler, but I'm not very good at killing my darlings.
Sounds fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks. So
Oh, very cool. Thank you so much, Cindy, for making time to speak with us. Love
Thank
the
you for
work.
having me. It's such an honor. I love your program and I'm so excited to be part of it.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's watching. And we will see you next week with a brand new writer. So
Thank
have a good
you.
evening, everybody.
Good evening and thank you
Good
for
night, y'all.
being here.